Can you tell us more about how Grand Wave came about, how you and Morgan founded that? And also shout out to Morgan. I've known Morgan since his Diamond Field days when he was producing the stand-up shows at the Alt Dot Comedy Lounge at the Rivoli.
Yeah.
So I knew him there and always saw his relationship with other comics and how chill and down to earth he was. But also I would see him after sets talking to comics and giving them advice or breaking down a certain bit or a joke. So I always felt that he was very hands-on and saw that side of him. So it was great. Yeah. But can you tell us more about how you guys founded Grand Wave?
I mean, truly, I think it was born of a necessity. Like I said, we were working at UTA, which had, just bought Tag, where we had literally been working for 6 months. And it just wasn't working for us. We, no slight on them. The way they run their business is obviously very successful. And, we should all aspire to, take over the world in that way and someday. But it wasn't in our hearts what we felt like we were here to do. And we felt like, some of our clients were being, they just weren't being given the opportunities that they deserved. So, when we left UTA and decided to start Grand Wave, there's a long discussion about what the name of the company should be. And that took, several days. But, truly we had already sort of been running our own, I don't want to say running our own company, but we've been sort of running our own roster out of the agency group before they were bought by UTA. So we've been given this, again, hands-on experience that I thought was invaluable, where you can sort of see how to run a company and how to run a small business. So, when we left and we started our own thing, and it was all very amicable. They were very nice to us, very supportive to us. I know you hear a lot of horror stories out of Los Angeles about, middle of the night escapades where clients are leaving different agencies and agents are leaving and starting their own thing. And it was very much not like that. Everybody was very supportive at Tag and UTA. And, we felt like we were in a good place. And, brought the roster that we'd already sort of started working on. I think at the time, I want to say we had 20 clients at the time and, started working with them immediately. I'd say the trickiest part was informing everybody for the third time in a year of a new company name. It's having to first explain, okay, we're with the agency group. Nope, now it's UTA. Nope, now it's Grand Wave Entertainment. And so I think that was the biggest challenge. We were receiving forwarded emails from UTA for months, sometimes even a year down the road, hey, I think this is for you.
But I have two follow-up questions to that. One is, where did the name Grand Wave come from? And number two is, do you remember any of the other names on the short list that didn't make it?
Yeah. Well, full credit to Morgan with Grand Wave, because we always knew we didn't want to name it after ourselves, because, it's not about us, but we wanted to be reflective of, what we are. So Flood, another name for flood, is a wave. And Sterling is great or grand. So that's how he came up with Grand Wave.
I got it.
Yeah, full credit to him. And I believe, one of them, I'm sure there were many, but one of them that sticks in my mind because I think we were really close to it was Equinox Talent or something like that.
Right.
I just like the way it rolled off the tongue, I think.
Right.
It had no meaning whatsoever. I was just like, I like Equinox. And then Morgan was like, I think that's a car. And I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. So Grand Wave it was. And then my husband designed the logo for the company. He's a graphic designer. And that was, little things like that were just really exciting, because you start to see those little pieces come together and you're like, oh, this is happening. We're starting a business. It's not just we have to get business cards and stuff like that. It's no, now we got to go incorporate and make sure nobody else has this name and all that other stuff.
Then you find the domain name and then the Instagram and the Facebook and you're like, all this stuff is available.
Yeah, man. Exactly. And full credit to Morgan on all of that, because as much as I can be business, oriented in that way, administratively and financially. I had no clue how to like make a website, make emails work and stuff like that. So I think, at the end of the day, we complement each other very well in, our strengths that we bring. You talked a little bit about Morgan's history with the Alt Dot and, producing that for a long time, and then producing the comedy night at the Drake. After that, when we started Grand Wave, he has unparalleled knowledge and expertise, in my opinion, when it comes to stand-up representation and, helping our clients formulate sets and prepare themselves and make those steps in their careers, where they're not just doing 15 minutes at a club, they're going on to do festivals and they're going on to film comedy specials for Just for Laughs and all over the world. I kudos to him because he really champions a lot of those efforts.
Yeah, and speaking of stand-up specials, Sandra Battellini, who's a fantastic actor and stand-up comedian, she recently filmed hers Haunted House over at the Redwood Theater. Brandon and I happened to be there. Were you there that night? But I don't know if we.
I was not, but I heard it was a fantastic night.
It was great. Yeah, the set was beautiful, and it's Macaw Productions. That's the production company that they shoot all of the specials on. I think that's such a smart idea to. You have the agency, but then you also have an arm of the agency or a side sister company, Macaw, to film all that stuff. So that
and that was very important to Morgan from the beginning, is to have this facility or these capabilities in house where he could be helping people do their own comedy specials. Dave Merhaj being one of them, and went on to win the Juno that year. I mean, that was a huge year for Macaw and for the efforts of Morgan and Millen Curry Sharples, who also works at Macaw with Morgan.